It appears that Claressa Shields is going to be fighting Abigail Montes. So the woman that you see right here, Spanish, she's Latin, she's of Latin descent, Abigail Montes, and she has a bit of a ground game, she does wrestle a little bit, I watched her last fight against some girl called, what's her name again? Perez, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I saw that fight and she was mixing up her takedowns and her boxing, and then she has her kicks as well because she does have a Muay Thai style. Abigail Montes has a Muay Thai background, so she's an expert in the clinch, the Muay Thai clinch, and she has some very good kicks as well, very good elbows too, and she has good wrestling. So if she chains all of those things together, I think she can make short work of Claressa Shields. But then also you saw her last fight, Claressa Shields, where she got dominated for the first 2 rounds against that girl, some bum. Her name was Brittany Elkins. She was a scrub, and she had a record of 3 wins and 6 losses, and she gave Claressa a very, very tough fight. So if Abby Montes comes with a good game plan, I think she can make short work of Claressa Shields. It just works on her ground and pound a lot more because Brittany Elkin was working on submissions. I mean, what are you doing submissions for? You're in mount. You're mounted on Claressa Shields and you're trying to go for arm triangle. Why don't you just pound her with your hands and fists and just make her get destroyed and just pound her head in and make her tap out to strikes? Or why don't you just take her back and choke her the fuck out? Like, Claressa's not even a white belt. I mean, she put on a gi. She doesn't even know how to tie the belt for the gi. Okay, she's a white belt on the ground. So I don't see why these girls are having problems with Claressa. Claressa's not a grappler. She's a boxer. She's a world champion boxer. So Montez's game plan, obviously, we all know what her game plan is going to be. She could either keep the fight at distance and use her kicks to gauge the distance and make sure that Claressa is always thinking about the kicks, so she can't come on the inside and fight on the inside as well as she would, because when she has to close that distance, you can make her pay with those kicks. And then if she comes in close, you can go with the clinch. You can go with the clinch and those elbows to the body, soften up her body, and then elbows from the clinch too, high elbows. You have a lot of options. I mean, Montez definitely, I think I would think that she's the favorite, but she has to avoid the mid-range because that's where Claressa's the most dangerous, because that's the range that her boxing style is going to work. Either she has to keep the fight long with kicks, or she can keep it short in the distance, in the clinch, and then she can dominate the clinch, or she can keep it long. But I think that's the only game plan that could really work for Abigail Montes. And Claressa, the game plan for her would be to keep the fight at mid-range. Make sure that her kicks don't get full extension on you. So make sure you keep closing that distance with jabs, feinting, head movement, stuff like that. And then maybe you can try to grapple with her a little bit. Not too much because you're not a grappler, you're a boxer. But I think you have to start adding some wrinkles to your game, like definitely working on your underhooks from that 50-50 position. Like, you got to really work those underhooks because she's not. And I would try to avoid the clinch as well. But it's going to be hard. Like, I don't see how she's going to avoid the clinch. She has to have perfect footwork. But, luckily for her in boxing, that's what they teach. The first thing they teach you in boxing is footwork. So Claressa has great footwork. So if she can keep the fight in mid-range and just keep hitting her with left straights to the body, and then just dotting in and out of range like a rabbit, hopping in and out of range, and just peppering her with shots, and then angling out of the return range where Abby Montes goes for the counter, like angle out and then just hit her with from the side, like when Gustafsson knocked out. When he knocked out Glover Teixeira, you guys see the combination with the uppercuts, and then he angled out, and then he hit him with the right hook, and then that knocked him out. I think Claressa can make short work of her, but the problem is if she faces a grappler that knows how to close that distance and then go for the clinch and then just use the momentum to tip her over and take her back and choke her out, or go for arm bars from the back clinch. Like those advanced positions, I don't think that Claressa is going to be able to escape that. So I think if Abby Montes really tries to drown her, just make her tired and just grapple with her, make it a very heavy grappling contest, like just wear on her from the clinch, and then just definitely make her carry away, and just hold on to her and make her work from the clinch, and then her body is just going to start to get tired, because Claressa's body of work in grappling is she's a relative novice on the ground, right? So and from the clinch, I think she's a relative novice also. I mean, there's some clinching in boxing also, but it's not really as prevalent for an MMA fight. It's obviously the MMA fighter has the advantage in the clinch position and in the grappling on the ground. So I think that's the best game plan I would have for Abigail Montes. Close that distance. Make sure you stay in the clinch, and then try to work takedowns. And then you can stay long as well, and then mix that kind of, add that threat to your style as well, like add that wrinkle to your game. Keep the fight long and hit her with kicks, and then if she tries to come inside, take her down. That's another game plan you could use. There's so many variations that she can think of. But like, yeah, Claressa, I think it's a lot. I think Abby Montes is much more dangerous for Claressa than Claressa is dangerous for Abby Montes, because of the many ways that she can win. The only way I can see Claressa winning is keeping the fight in mid-range, angling out, and just creating a lot of openings with her striking, and then knocking out Abby Montes. And she has to do it early. She can't do it late, because when she starts to get tired, and she's not really a knockout puncher. Claressa's not really a big puncher like that. She has 3 knockouts. So if the fight continues and goes to the longer and goes into the deeper rounds, she's gonna be more tired, right? So there's gonna be less pop on her punches, and then that's when she's gonna be at the most risk, because if she has no energy left to throw punches, then and she can't grapple, she has no grappling. So that's just how I see the fights going. I just think that Montes has a lot more tools in her toolbox to enable her to win this fight. I think if she works on her cardio and makes sure that's top notch, and then goes for a heavy grappling style fight, then I think she wins this fight relatively easy. That's my prediction. I know the fight's like a month away. She has another couple of weeks to work on her grappling, but a month to work on grappling, it's not gonna do too much to add to your game. It's gonna add a little bit, but then you're kind of getting into that phase where you are so focused on the grappling, you forget about the kicking range. You forget about a lot of different things. And then what if you get taken down? How are you going to get back up? Like these are things you got to keep drilling and training, like getting back to the fence, and in particular, actually avoiding getting taken down in the first place, making your opponent work for that takedown so he gets tired. Just things that you learn with experience and with experienced coaches behind you. She's working with Greg Winklejackson and those guys. I don't think that's actually the best pick for her. I don't think that's what she should have chosen, in my opinion, because those guys are more of a company style gym. Like, they're not very tailor made for one fighter. Like, they have a lot of fighters in their stable, so I don't think they can give Claressa the attention that she deserves for every fight, because they have so many other fighters under their wing. So, they got Holly fighting. John Jones is not fighting right now, but they have a lot of other stable fighters that they have to look out for. So I feel Claressa maybe should have created her own team and just find people that she really meshes with. But I guess, Winklejackson is a good gym. It's not a bad gym. But that's what I think happens. Montes basically washes her if she, just figures it out. In terms of the best game plan to have, I think it's super obvious. I already broke it down. Like, her coaches, like, someone needs to send this video to Abby Montes, because this is the only way she wins the fight. Keeps the fight long or clinch position. But yeah, whatever.